Hi everyone, it's good to see you again. Now, if you're a bit like me, you have a to-do list, and I suspect that some of you during this lockdown period might have been able to start to tick some of these things off. They've been on for quite some time. One of those things might well be that you can have a clear out and get rid of some of the stuff that's kind of built up over the years. Now, for some of you, when you do that, you go through stuff and you find stuff that you've kept hold of for good reason. They hold memories and things that take you back to bygone days. So I was in the loft a couple of days ago looking for something, as it was, but then you start to find things and you remind you of some things in the past. So I thought to share some of those with you. So if I go back to the decade that I was born in, not the 1950s, the 1970s, thank you. Here are a couple of the toys that I used to play with. There is Kojak's very own car, without Kojak, lost years ago, and the USS Enterprise in a bit of a sorry state. Not sure if it could fly like that, but those are the sort of things, kids, that we had when we were little to play with. None of this tech stuff that you have today. And the 1970s wouldn't be complete without its very own ABBA album. Sums up the music of the 1970s. So few bits lying around from the 70s. Then I moved to the 80s. I thought, what have I got from the 80s? Well, some of you might remember that one, Europe's The Final Countdown. And something that I had, which was about 85, I reckon, my very own Lego train set. I think it got built once, put away, and never touched ever again. Then we go to the 1990s. Well, what did I have from there? Well, there's a few bits here. This one's particularly for Richard and Phil Clare. There's my very own SNES. Still got all the games, still works as far as I'm aware. Kids, again, ask your parents. This was an early version of your PlayStation. And music-wise, James, Come Home, classic music of the 1990s. Even this very t-shirt I'm wearing, won't wear this normally. This is an original 1996 European Championships t-shirt. And yes, it does smell like it. Doesn't get worn anymore, been stored away for quite some time. And then you just come across these things as you're sorting things out. And it started me thinking, does God do the same thing? Does he look back and go, for instance, does he look at the Red Sea and go, oh, just that spot there, that's where I parted the Red Sea. That was a classic miracle, getting the Israelites out of Egypt. Or does he look back at where the upper room was and say, ah, yes, that's Holy Spirit, remember, that's when you really came down, and tongues of fire and languages, and yeah, that was a proper service, not like they have today down there. You know what? I don't think he really does. I don't think God does that. And I think what God wants for us is yes, it's nice to look back at memories, at the past, but he wants us to look forward. He wants us to look to the future. Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11, again a much quoted verse, says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." And that's what God has for us. His focus really is on the plans, it's on the future, it's on what he's got for us to do going forward. Now, when we're in lockdown, we can feel it's a bit like Groundhog Day. It's the same thing day after day. And you don't know where that future is. You don't know what that plan is. But what God's saying is he has a plan for you. And what he's got planned for you in the future is so much better than whatever has gone on in the past. Even the best of the past, what God has got planned for you in the future is better than that. As far as God is concerned, the best is yet to come for you. Take hold of that, hold on to that, and believe that God has got an abundant and blessed future for you. God bless you.